Hey guys, welcome to this unscheduled video, which is a response video to the recent Colion Noir video regarding his Saiga-12. Now, if you haven't seen the video, here's his view on his Saiga-12.
It's a piece of
Now, why does he think it's a piece of Now, that's because the friend that modified the Saiga-12 did what a lot of guys do when getting into the Saiga-12 for the first time. All he did really was add parts to it to make it look cool, and he added one part for function, which would be the TAC-47 auto plug. But let's hear why he thinks it's a piece of
And the reason it's a piece of is because it doesn't really like to cycle brass. Doesn't like low brass, doesn't really like mid brass. I guess it kind of does high brass. We're about to find out. I don't even know if this thing is gonna run.
Now, the reason why his Saiga-12 doesn't cycle reliably is because of the way the Saiga-12s are built. Now, if you go to buy one, or even go to buy the Chinese Lynx version, because Saigas can't be imported anymore, the first thing you should do is check the gas system. And that is taking the gas plug out, taking the piston out, and checking the gas ports that are drilled into the barrel. Now, the Saiga-12 build process isn't really what I would call precision. And within the Saiga-12 community, there's something that's called a vodka special. And that's because your Saiga-12 can have either 2, 3, or 4 gas ports drilled into the barrel to get this thing to cycle. But the gas block of the Saiga-12 isn't always pinned in the same location and right over top of the gas ports. Before modifying a Saiga-12 or Lynx, make sure that it's running as it is, because once you start modifying it, putting different things in there, if it doesn't run after that, then you're going to have to hunt and find out what the actual problem is. Again, most likely the problem is going to be a gas port issue, but there's a few things that can add to the failure to cycle shotgun shells reliably. So here's Mr. Colion Noir's Saiga-12 setup. They cut off the tang and added a stock. They did a pistol grip conversion, which moves the fire control group from here and moves it up to here where it naturally should be. But because of the import regulations of the scary black shotgun, the Russians actually had to do the reverse of a bullpup. And instead of taking the fire control group and moving it forward, they had to take the fire control group and move it rearward because they had to add that sporterized stock. And the only way to pull the trigger with that sporterized stock was to move it rearward. So after the stock there, you can see he's got a full Chaos quad rail and goes over the dust cover and attaches to the back just like the dust cover does. He's got a couple of mag pull sights, but the Leopold he's got right there, it's in a bad spot. It's right above the ejection port, right? And a 12 gauge shotgun shell is pretty thick. Now you might have FTE issues, which is failure to extract, all because of this sight here. As the shell's trying to eject out, it hits the mounting screw here and doesn't fully eject. But let's say that's not the issue. Another issue could be if there was nothing done to the gas system and the gas system isn't the best and you don't want to remove your gas block to fix your gas system, the only other option is to remove any friction. Now you have a sliding dust cover right here that cycles with the bolt carrier group. You can remove that to remove some of the friction. A lot of things some guys do when they do the pistol grip conversion, they'll smooth out the hammer and they'll smooth out the bottom of the bolt carrier just to make it so that there's less friction as this bolt carrier is cycling to make it more reliable. And that TAC-47 auto plug is actually a really good addition. All he would have to do really is a couple of modifications and he'd have himself a pretty nice shotgun. Now we can go over my shotgun and I can point out all the things that I did to it. Here it is, it's a beauty. Anyways, what I did might be a little extreme to what other guys might want to do with their Saiga-12s or their Lynx, whichever one they can get, but I completely disassembled it. I took the gas block off, and I had the bolt carrier group, the receiver, the dust cover, the safety, the barrel, gas tube, gas block, and I even took apart the TAC-47 auto plug there, and I sent them all in to get nitride coated. So this whole Saiga-12 has a nitride coat, except for the furniture. Right. After that, when it came back, I filed the inside of the gas block to uncover those 2 ports that I had covered, and I opened up all the ports to the maximum diameter. I think it was 0.8 something. I'm not sure. It's been a long time. I modified my gas system, put the TAC-47 gas plug in there, and with that, you go out, you get the lightest shells you're going to shoot, and you just turn the front of the auto plug until you are cycling the lightest load. You set it and forget it. And it's going to run everything else that you put in it.
You just set it, and you forget about it.
You just set it
and then forget it.
Along with the TAC 47 auto plug, I removed that little dust cover that cycles with the bolt carrier group. I took that out to remove the friction that it causes. I smoothed and polished the hammer and bolt carrier group so that it would provide less friction. My safety selector is kind of like an ambidextrous safety. It has the regular lever of an AK, but back here it has an extension here. What this safety selector was originally for is a regular Saiga-12 that hasn't been converted for a pistol grip. Still has that sporterized stock, and that's so when gripping the Saiga-12 with that sporterized stock, you can still actuate the safety with your trigger finger. But for me, seeing as how I'm forced to be a lefty now, I use that as my little ambi safety. Using it because it's on the opposite side, it's the opposite. So I'd push it up with my thumb for fire and I'd pull it down for safe. I got a folding stock here. I forget what company makes it, but obviously I got Magpul furniture, and the Magpul grip that I have up front is for a Remington 870, so I had to modify it. Now, those videos of modifying these to fit the Saiga-12 I had up on my channel, but the new YouTube policies had to remove them, which sucks. But the new AK furniture is a lot easier to fit to a Saiga-12 than the Remington 870, but at that time all I had was the Remington 870 to use. I got 3 barricade stops, one on the bottom and one on each side, and they're from Noveski. They come in handy sometimes because, you know, I'm only running my left arm. The muzzle brake up front is one of my favorite pieces. It's an aluminum muzzle brake from Carolina Shooter Supply, and it is a copy of the Russian Molot GK01 brake. And I haven't found another brake that matches its recoil reduction, but I do have another one that I'm going to test out, and we're going to see if that one's better. So after watching Mr. Colion Noir go through the little range with the Saiga-12, I can pretty much tell that his problem is probably coming from that Leopold sight he's got up top there. The shells are just trying to eject, but they're hitting the little mounting screw on it, and he's getting failure to eject. Simple solution, move it forward, then go back to the range. Don't just take it out to the range, and because it doesn't work how you want it, you give up on it and call it a piece of shit. Sit down, think about it, analyze what's happening. You know, making a video of it helps out because you can go back and you can watch it. And with his production team, they're probably using a pretty nice camera that can shoot in a high frame rate so they can slow it down and see what's actually happening. After I tore down and rebuilt this Saiga-12, I've never had a problem with it cycling anything. It eats everything. I love it. And everyone at the range that shoots it, they love it too. It's light, but again, that GK01 muzzle brake, it really helps with the recoil reduction. So, Mr. Colion Noir, if you need assistance in getting your Saiga-12 to actually run reliably, send it to a company that actually knows what they're doing, like Dissident Arms, and they'll get it running for you. And you'll no longer call it
Piece That's a bumpy. And it hurts too.
Well, that's about it for this video, guys. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button and feel free to share it, guys. Also, if you guys like my content and would like to support it, head on over to ballisticink.com/collections/Fitty_actual and pick up some merch designed by me. It's a great way to support the video production and get something physical in return. I do also have a Patreon account if you'd like to help that way too. Don't forget to stop by the Facebook page because we usually have a fun time there. Well, that's it, guys. Laters.